Hello there. Welcome back to another DFG Live. This is the third in our series of taking control of your life and money in 2019. And today we're sharing a shocker with you. Not that kind of a shocker. This is a shocker that will show you that you're wasting thousands of dollars a year that you don't actually have to be wasting. So you want to pay attention to this. So if you don't remember, this is your first time watching us, I'm John.
And I'm David.
And we're the Debt Free Guys. And we are the co-hosts of the Queer Money podcast and the creators of the credit card payoff course, which is coming out just around the corner. We're excited about it.
Exactly.
So in addition to talking about that shocking shocker, we're also going to talk to you about the credit card payoff course that's coming out shortly. We've got a lot of questions about it. We thought now might be a good time to introduce some of that information tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I want to just give you a little bit of backstory on us. So John and I at one point had $51,000 in credit card debt. This was a year and a half after we got together that we kind of exposed that to each other. And we started thinking to ourselves, well, why? Why did we have so much credit card debt? And one of the things that we realized is that a lot of our credit card debt was coming from this idea of us trying to make up for lost time. You see, both of us came, and some of you may relate to this, came from a time period when it wasn't okay to be gay. When we were in junior high and high school, even in college, that it wasn't okay to be an out gay person. And so we were very insecure. So when we finally got to a point where we were earning what we thought was a decent amount of money, we felt like we needed to make up for lost time. Especially when we started to engage with the gay community when we were living in Denver, we felt like we really wanted to fit in. And as a lot of you know, what is it like to try to fit into the gay community? Well, things that really are valued in the gay community are looking and living fabulous. So we tried to make ourselves look good, whether it was clothing or dining out or buying drinks for our friends at the bar or taking fabulous vacations. All of these were things that we felt like we had to do so that we could not only make ourselves feel good, but also to impress people that we wanted to be our friends. In reality, we were spending to medicate ourselves, to make ourselves feel better. And it wasn't until we hit our rock bottom that we realized that what we were doing with our spending was actually making us feel worse than it was feeling better. And we shared that in our very first video in this series about what it was like when we hit a rock bottom, what it took for us to get there. And so it was after that that we started to live by our truth. We started to live by what was important to us, not what was important to the people that we thought we needed to impress. And because of that, we paid off our debt within about just over 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy to think it, but that's exactly what we want for you. So just like riddle with me here a little bit. Just imagine how it would feel to be rid of your credit card debt and to no longer have to worry about minimum monthly payments that seem to go nowhere. Imagine having the tools and the know-how to increase your net worth and your peace of mind. These are all experiences that David and I have had. Think of what it would be like to actually work with a group of people, almost like a team, who are on the similar journey, all trying to improve their financial situation, all working to become debt-free.
Yeah. So if you think you're not good with money, but you want to be debt-free, then this is for you. If you think that you're not worth it, or that you should have more, as we discussed on Tuesday, this is really for you. If you're not sure how to stop living paycheck to paycheck, this is really for you. Or if you just want to have a little bit more money and you want that annoying credit card debt to go away, this is for you. And what I'm saying here, this is for you, is really this idea that there is a process that we have created that will help you eliminate your debt, start being able to spend the money instead of sending it to someone else.
Exactly. But before we do that, we want to show you that shocking event. So let's find out how you can how much your credit card debt is actually costing you. So just to provide a scenario here, when David and I had our $51,000 worth of credit card debt, we did this calculation that we're going to run with you tonight, and we realized that we were spending $10,000 a year on credit card interest payments. Now, so that is just $10,000 a year that we were paying in fees just for the privilege of being able to have credit card debt. Now, what would you do with $10,000? What would you do if your boss called you in the office and said, hey, I'm going to give you a $10,000 raise today? You'd go crazy, right? You'd probably go on a vacation or go out for a fancy dinner or a combination of that. So David and I were surprised when we did this calculation ourselves, and we were thinking about what are we giving up just to subsidize this debt? And so that's part of what we're gonna uncover for you tonight. So as we've said before, debt anchors your future to your past, and we want to help our community, you particularly, stop anchoring your future to your past. So the credit card interest rate reality check is a tool that we use that you can click to in the link here that we provided to show you exactly how much your credit card debt is costing you and why you need to do something about it now.
Right. So we want to talk a little bit about what this really is, or the tool that we're providing here, this credit card interest rate reality check. As John mentioned, for many of us, we go day after day, month after month, year after year, not realizing that we're literally throwing away thousands of dollars because we are privileged enough to have a credit card and have been able to charge up money on that credit card, or a balance on that credit card. So the credit card interest rate reality check is really what it's going to do is help you realize how much money you are wasting. So what we want you to do is we want you, and you know, after you've downloaded this is something you're going to have to do on your own, but we want you to go and get your last credit card statement for all of the credit cards that you have. Now, you may have one credit card, you may have 70. Let's hope you don't have 70, but either way, all you need is the last statement for each of those credit cards. And what we want you to do is find the line item on that credit card statement where it says this is how much money you paid in interest, or how much you paid in purchase fees or purchase charges. Those kinds of, that's what that line item will look like, but it really is the interest that you paid for that month or for this past month. Now, for some of you that may have gone up, especially because of the holidays, but you're going to be looking for that item, that line item. And you want to note that line item on the credit card interest rate reality check. Then if you have more than one card, what you're going to do is you're going to total these, and then you're going to multiply that number by 12. Now, the reason we're multiplying it by 12 is that's how much potentially you're spending every year just to have your credit card debt. So let's use a somewhat real life example here. Let's say someone has 3 credit cards. They have a credit card with a $2,000 balance that has roughly a 13% interest rate on it, 12.99. They got a low introductory rate. And then they've got another credit card at $5,000, and that one is financed at 18%. And then they've got a third credit card, and that one has $1,500, but it has rolled off of that low interest introductory period, and now they're paying almost 22%. Let's say almost 21%. So how much would somebody like this pay in interest fees every month? Well, the first credit card, the one with $2,000, you're paying about $21.37 a month to have that $2,000. The $5,000 balance credit card, you're paying $73.97 a month just to have that $5,000 balance. And then the $1,500 one with the higher interest rate, you're paying $25.89 to have that amount on that credit card. So that totals $121.23. Now, as we said, we want you to multiply that number by 12. This is where the shocker comes into place. That individual would be spending or accruing $1,454.76 a year just for the privilege of having a credit card balance of $8,500. You know, what would you do with an additional $1,454.76? You know, if you're anywhere near this, you probably know. You know what you would do with all that extra money. You know, $1,400 is a trip to Mexico. It's 2 payments on an Audi A4. It's about 8 to 10 trips to the spa. It's 25% of the max contribution you could be making to an IRA for a better future. And if you're like us, it's about 3 months worth of groceries. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you are keeping a balance on your credit cards, you could be robbing yourself of the vital things that you need to live off of.
Yeah, that's surprising, huh? So you probably don't have all the information with you right now to be able to go through this exercise. So go ahead and download the credit card interest rate reality check worksheet that we provided here in the link. Grab those statements that David recommended and go ahead and fill the worksheet out yourself and then do the calculation. You will probably, if you're anything like us, be frustrated with what you find. But in that frustration is an opportunity because it'll provide you with an opportunity to pay off. If you're paying any amount of interest on your credit cards, that means you've got some money that we'll be able to find for you to help pay off your credit card debt fast, just with some manipulation of how you use those credit cards.
All right, so now we want to talk a little bit about what this credit card payoff course is all about. So our backstory is that we were living a life, we were suffering because of our credit card debt. And so we realized that we could pay our credit card debt off when we made a few changes in our life. And the reality is that the LGBT community and our allies and people in general are suffering under a massive amount of credit card debt. The United States passed $1 trillion in credit card debt in 2018. So there is a huge amount of debt that our country and us as individuals are carrying, and we want to change that. We want to stop that. We want to break free from that. So what exactly is the credit card payoff course? Well, it's a step-by-step strategy that will help you pay off your credit card debt faster than you ever thought possible, faster than we thought. We originally planned to not be able to pay our debt off for about 3 to 3.5 years. And we ended up paying it off almost 2.5 or almost 12 months prior to when we thought we were going to be able to pay it off. So our strategy can become your strategy. And one of the interesting things is a lot of people say, they have asked us, why isn't there a gay Dave Ramsey, or why isn't there a gay Mr. Money Mustache? Well, the reality is there is, and that's what John and I are doing. Is this course is created by queer people, primarily for queer people, and our allies, because we know many of us have a different mindset when it comes to spending, when it comes to earning, and we cover some of that in our course. Our whole goal here is to help LGBT people and our allies break free from the strain of credit card debt. And so we want to strengthen our community. And one of the strengths that our community has to have is a financial strength, because without that, we cannot fund the progress that has been happening for our community. We need to elect officials that will support us. We need to support the organizations that are fighting for LGBT youth who are on the streets. We need to help our community, and the way we can help our community is by having the money to be able to give back. If we're suffering under credit card debt, we don't have the money to give back.
Exactly. So as you can see in the comments, we provided a link to the information page for the credit card payoff course, but just a high-level overview of what you're going to get with that. We created a series of videos that cover 5 different modules that'll walk you through step-by-step how to pay off your credit card debt. We've also got complimentary reading materials and practical exercises that we walk you through. You also have access to a private, customized Facebook group. So you'll be going through this process with other people who are on the same page as you, and they'll be available to answer questions you might have, share frustrations and successes with, and then we'll also be a part of that group as well, and we'll make ourselves available on a weekly basis for Q&As to make sure that you're progressing as we all want you to progress. We'll also uncover some of your money habits, the good ones, as well as some of the challenges that you have, and we'll figure out how to adjust those. You won't be put on a restrictive diet with this. David and I are not about limitation at all. So while we might cut back a little bit, one of our goals is to help you find extra money that you don't already know that you have, so that you can pay off your debt and then in the long term improve your quality of life without actually having to go on a super restrictive diet. So that sort of covers it, the course from a high level perspective. But for the first 50 people who subscribe, they will get a free copy of our book for the 4 Principles of a Debt-Free Life, as well as a one-on-one coaching session with us to answer any personal questions that they might not want to share in the Queer Money group, or have any customized advice that they might be looking for.
Exactly. So between those 2 bonuses that you get for being one of the 50 first people, that's a $275 value, a coaching session with us and our book. So what is your investment in this? What is your investment in the course? Well, we're still ironing out the details, but as you can imagine, we value our time and energy just as much as you value your time and energy when you go to work for someone. This is our job. Our job is helping people get out of debt. And so we can't do this for free, or we wouldn't be able to continue doing this. Now, keeping that in mind, I want to give you talk to you about an analogy. Let's say you were a contestant on, or you just happen to be sitting in the audience on the show, Let's Make a Deal. Maybe you've heard of this show, maybe you haven't, but basically what happens
is we could be dating ourselves.
Right. Well, it's on TV right now.
Is it? Okay.
And so let's say you're a contestant sitting in, or you're a person sitting in the audience, and the host comes up to you and says, ask you for how much money you have in your wallet or your purse. And let's say you have $40. And they say, I will trade you that $40 for what's behind door number 1. And you already know that what's behind door number 1 is worth $1,454. Now, you might remember that number from earlier, but let's just say that that's the trade-off. But you've got to give him the money, go down the stairs, and pull back the door in order to get that prize. Would you do it? Well, of course you would. What if he said, it'll cost you $200? Would you do it? Oh, of course you would. You would figure out, even if you didn't have $200, you would figure out. You would borrow from people in the audience and say you'll pay them back. You would figure out a way to do it, right? I mean, logically, when you think about it, you probably would do that trade all the way up until probably maybe $1,000 or maybe $1,200. As long as you're ahead, you're going to make that trade, right? So what would happen, or how would you feel if you didn't make the trade? You probably would think, I made a mistake. Now, what would happen if you were the person sitting next to that contestant, and that contestant sat down and said, no, I'm not going to pay $50 or $200 to make that trade? What would you think of that person? You probably think to yourself, wow, that's crazy. Why wouldn't you do that? That doesn't make any sense. So what I'm trying to say here is that John and I believe that if you go through this course, you will have the opportunity to erase a massive amount of money that you are paying today from your future. You will be able to bring that in and be able to spend it or apply it to your life. So we've spent hundreds of hours creating this course, and we've gone through a specific testing process with a small group of people that helped us create this. And what's amazing is that even the people who were in that course that started back in October have already started saving thousands of dollars. We have a couple of stories already of people who already know that they have saved several $1,000s. So that's part of the reason why this is not something we can afford or you can afford to give away for free. And the reality is we also know that when things are free, most of us discount the value of that. We don't actually follow through and complete that. And we know that from personal experience and from others that we've talked to, that when a course is given away for free, people don't complete it. Well, if it's free and you don't complete it, then it doesn't do you any good, right? So that's part of the reason why. The last thing is, John and I believe this so much that we are willing to stand behind this and give you a 100% guarantee that this will work for you. If you give it a genuine go and you don't feel like it has delivered on our promise, then ask us for a refund.
Exactly. So just some further context, registration for the credit card payoff course opens up Sunday morning, January 13th, so just around the corner, but it will only be available for a few days. Space is limited, so don't wait. And so before you start getting worried about whether or not you can afford this or whether or not this is for you, just ask yourself a couple of questions. What's important to you in your life right now? What do you want to achieve in the next couple of months? What have you wanted to achieve over the last couple of years, but your financial limitations have prevented you from being able to achieve those? That's the opportunity that we want to present to you. How do you feel about the strength and the direction of the LGBT community right now? And how would you like to help the LGBT community? That's our opportunity at this moment. We want to be able to strengthen the community, as David said, so we can continue to push forward for our rights.
Right. So give it some time. Think about it. As John mentioned, the course will become available for you to purchase just around the corner. It's actually going to happen on Sunday the 13th. But if you want to get some freebies before it is available, some things that will help you get on that path to becoming debt-free, we encourage you. John's going to put oh, actually, it looks like he already did. He put a link in the comments here, so you can get information about the course. Go ahead and take a look at it. Let us know what you think. As always, if you have any questions on tonight's exercise on the credit card interest rate reality check, if you go through that and you don't necessarily understand or want to verify something with us, please ask questions. Whether that's here on the Debt Free Guys wall, you message us directly, or you're a member of the Queer Money Group on Facebook, then please ask us there. We want to know your questions. As always, that helps us figure out what we can do to help serve people like you better.
Exactly. And Bill Riker, we got your question. When we discussed the price of the course, David let everybody know that we're still ironing out the final details of the course. We're running it through our beta testers right now. We hope to know in the next couple of days. We want to make sure it's priced correctly. This is our first time coming out with an offer. We want to make sure that it's priced correctly. So we're working with the beta course right now to finalize that. So that'll come out soon. If you want to be on top of notices that come out about the course, click that link to the credit card payoff course. You can subscribe to get notifications, and you'll be one of the first people to find out when it's available and what the price will be.
Sounds good. Thank you. Have a great night.